Well, hello and welcome to Fourth Umpire on Doordarshan. I'm Raman. Live cricket action returns once again to Doordarshan with the India-Sri Lanka one-day series, the second one-day to be played at the Premadasa Stadium in Colombo today. And of course, you can catch the live telecast of that in about an hour's time. But first, of course, our pre-match analysis program, Fourth Umpire. With me in the studio, our panel of experts here with us on the show. The hat-trick man himself, Chetan Sharma. Chetan, great to have you on the show. And keenly contested series होने की आशा इंडिया 1-0 अप सीरीज में पहले ही
बिल्कुल रमन, बहुत ज़रूरी है कि 1-0 अगर आप पहले सीरीज में अप हो जाए तो कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल आपका ऊपर हो जाता है.
Well, of course, we're looking forward to another keenly contested match today. The Indians have been clinical, but let me, before we talk about more cricket, talk to another panelist on our show. Vijay Bhaiya, the safest pair of hands behind the stumps now. Vijay, it's been a good start for India. They've got their bandwagon rolling. But really, Sri Lanka can't be written off so early yet.
Not at all. They're playing in their own backyard. I'm like, you can't do that. And you don't want to make that sort of a mistake. It's one thing that you're winning, you're on the roll, but you cannot ever underestimate your opposition. And I think this younger lot understands this very well. But let's not take credit away from the Indians. They started off, they thrashed the England side, and they started on a winning note here as well. So they're looking good.
Absolutely, the Indians on song really to say that in the IDBI Fortis Wealth Assurance Cup. They won the first one-day quite comprehensively by 6 wickets, and the Sri Lankans really were left gasping. Not to forget, they put in a good performance with the bat, especially Sanath Jayasuriya. Let's do a quick recap of what happened in that first one-day that India went on to win in the series. They 1-0 up, remember. We'll take a quick look at the scorecard in a short while from now, but really it was Sanath Jayasuriya who was the man who really called the shots. 100, and well, he's still going strong, 39 plus. But the interesting thing, Chetan, अगर उनके आंकड़ों पे नजर डाली जाए, सनत जयसूर्या कहते हैं once he crossed 35, he scored more hundreds than any other player in international cricket.
बहुत डेंजरस प्लेयर है एक्चुअली. अगर आप बात देखें, मतलब हम एज की बात करते हैं, यहाँ पर साफ दर्शाता है कि एज की कोई मतलब यहाँ पर जगह नहीं है. अगर आपकी फिटनेस लेवल अच्छा है, आप रन्स बनाते हैं, अपनी कंट्री के लिए रन्स बना रहे हैं और एंड ऑफ द डे जिताते हैं. चलो आप नहीं जीत पाए, 107 रन बनाए जयसूर्या ने, बट बहुत ही बेहतरीन पारी उन्होंने खेली. हर समय खतरनाक साबित होते हैं मेरे अकॉर्डिंग. जब तक जयसूर्या विकेट पे है, एक खतरा बना रहता है किसी भी टीम के लिए.
The other thing is, of course, with the Indians up against them as opposition, Sanath Jayasuriya brings out the best in himself. Let's take a quick look at the match summary, the brief scorecard of what transpired in the first one day of the IDBI Fortis Wealth Assurance Cup. And this is what transpired. Jayasuriya got on to 107, as Chetan was saying. Fantastic knock it was. A big game at Dambulla. Remember, India won the toss and elected to field first. Jayasuriya getting 107. 44 to Sangakkara. A very sedate knock from him. Maruf came into the quick-fire 35 of just 27 deliveries. But really, in the end, half centuries from 3 Indian batsmen, Gambhir, Raina, and then Dhoni himself, an unbeaten 61, guided India to a 6-wicket win. But really, Vijay, it's not too often that you see a man who's ended up on the losing side getting the Man of the Match award as well. But that was Sanath Jayasuriya for you.
I think he won't be very happy with one of these Man of the Matches. You know, looking at him, so much of experience behind him. And I think the other thing you were just mentioning his age. I think he's the youngest looking 39 around. I mean, the way he's going, he's touchwood. I mean, like that, they need him right now. Captain is struggling with his form, so they need somebody senior in the team to stand up and deliver, and that's what Jayasuriya is doing. But coming back to the last game, I think after scoring almost 250, they were quite confident. You know, if you look in the middle over, they were going a little slow. The Sri Lankans were hoping that 240 is at par score here. It's almost a winning score here. And today I was reading in the newspaper, Mahela Jayawardene was saying they were fooled by Dambulla wicket because they were hoping, something like that is good enough to hold on to and have 2 ace spinners in their side as well. But Indians, on the other hand, definitely have a very, very strong game plan to go into the series.
Interestingly, there was a lot of talk, just recapping what happened at Dambulla, there was a lot of talk about the Indians saying that it's better to field first. That's exactly what they did when they won the toss, because of the water table being too high, so the ball not really coming onto the bat in the initial 10-15 overs, and that's the reason why, even though they lost the wicket of Dilshan early, you saw Sangakkara playing a very sedate knock and not really going after the Indian bowlers. But Chetan, एक बात और जहां पर इंडिया ने काफी अच्छा खेल दिखाया पहले मैच के अंदर, जो थर्ड एंड फाइनल पावर प्ले था, जो बैटिंग पावर प्ले था, उसके अंदर इंडिया ने बहुत ज्यादा रन्स नहीं दिए.
वही सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बात है. अगर आप बात करें गेंदबाजों की, वहां पर कि इनिशियल आप देखिए फास्ट बॉलर्स ने विकेट नहीं ली, जहां पर दारोमदार भारतीय टीम का तेज गेंदबाजों के ऊपर है, तीनों तेज गेंदबाजों की. अगर आप ऊपर से विकेट्स नहीं निकालेंगे तो मैचेस बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएंगे. लेकिन जहां गेंदबाजों का मैं कहूंगा तारीफ करनी होगी, स्पेशली ईशांत शर्मा की, जैसे उन्होंने स्लो डिलीवरी का इस्तेमाल किया, 3 विकेट्स वहां पर निकाले. एंड जहीर खान 10 ओवर 40 रन, 1 विकेट, 10 ओवर 40 रन आप पावर प्ले में गेंदबाजी कर रहे हैं थ्रू एंड थ्रू, और आप सिर्फ 40 रन दे रहे हैं, तो यकीनन आई थिंक सो संगाकारा के वो 44 रन 27 ओवर में बैटिंग करके 44 रन सिर्फ बनाए, प्लस तेज गेंदबाजों की स्लॉग ओवर में अच्छी गेंदबाजी, आई थिंक सो यही कारण था कि भारतीय टीम ने ये मैच जीता.
Well, of course, the Indians did put in an all-round effort. Dhoni did remark that he wanted one of his top-line batsmen to stay on till the end and finish the task, despite the fact that 3 of the batsmen got half centuries, Dhoni himself an unbeaten 61. But today is a different day. Remember, it's a day-night game that the Indians are going to be playing at the Premadasa Stadium. Stats heavily favour Sri Lanka at this venue. And since we're talking about stats and the venue, let's very quickly take a look at the dossier for this venue at the Premadasa in Colombo. These are what the stats look like. First match played here was between Sri Lanka and New Zealand back in 1986. Total 84 matches played. Sides batting first of 146 matches. Sides were batting second or chasing of 132. So really, there is a statistical inference to be drawn there. 6 no results. Sri Lanka have played 69 matches here. And as I said, this is happy hunting ground for them. 45 wins, only 19 losses, 9 and 5 no results for them. But India, 32 matches played. They've only won 12. They've lost 16. That's the key. Highest innings totals, 319. Pakistan got that versus Bangladesh. But for Sri Lanka, 302 versus India. India got 307 for 6 versus the Lankans back in 1998. And that was a match where Sachin Tendulkar got a fantastic 100. But 86, the lowest score at this ground. Netherlands got that versus Sri Lanka. For Sri Lanka, they've scored the lowest 98. And that was versus South Africa. For India, the lowest has been 103. That was last year in the series that India won 3-2. Now, talking about highest individual scores at this ground, 145 by Andy Flower for Zimbabwe. But for Sri Lanka, Ranatunga got an unbeaten 131. For Tendulkar, well, he's been the highest scorer for the Indians, 128 in the same match where India crossed 300 at this venue. Best bowling figures, Dilara Fernando, 6 for 27 for India, 6 for 59 by Ashish Nehra, left armour, doing very well against them 3.5 years ago. Now, top run getters overall, Sanat Jayasuriya, no doubt about that, 40.10. That's what he averages at this ground in 63 matches that he's played for Sri Lanka. For India, Tendulkar's got a much better average, lesser number of matches though. He's averaging 48 and thereabouts. 65 wickets at an average of 24.93 for Mutaya Muralitharan. And remember, he needs another 1 more to equal Wasim Akram's record and 2 more in this match to go past him. But for India, 27 wickets at an average that was just over 25 by Harbhajan Singh. That's the kind of stat that you're up against. That's the kind of scenario that we are heading into as far as this match is concerned. A lot of individual milestones to be attained. But really for India, they've got to watch out for Sanat Jayasuriya. He's been the man who's been leading Sri Lanka from the front. And Vijay, interestingly, we're talking about the same 39-year young Sanat Jayasuriya who announced his retirement, went out of active cricket, was called back when the Sri Lankans are struggling. And really, they've